Okay, hi everybody. Robin Golinski and Dr. Dennis Becker here, Outwitting the Manipulator. We're back again, and we want to talk about trust today because trust is hmm, a difficult to earn. You have to earn it over time, and it can be destroyed pretty quickly. However, we have different ways to discuss it with regard to manipulation. And I'd like to suggest, Dennis, that the way we talk about it is, first of all, your ability to trust yourself. So this is something that can be eroded if you get in deep with a manipulator, whether professionally or personally, it doesn't really matter. If you're in a relationship long term with high stakes with a manipulative person, your trust in yourself will be deeply eroded. And then once you realize the paradigm that you're in, and you start to see things and you start to understand it, as many people we work with do, and then get the strength and the confidence and competence to get away from the manipulator, how do you then trust not just yourself to make choices about relationships, but how do you learn to trust a person again? Because typically, when you're in a relationship with a manipulator, either professionally or personally, they are very adept at winning your trust over. And it can be quite a shock when you realize it was all a game and you were just a win and not, it wasn't real. None of it was real. So that's a longer than usual description of what I'd like to talk about, Dennis. So I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that our listeners know that it's everything we do here is related to manipulation and how it affects you, how it is done, how you can protect yourself from it, all of that. So this topic today may not feel like a specific technique. Like we've given you techniques for about gaslighting and humiliation and all sorts of things, specific things, facial expression, words, all of that. This is a little bit different today. Uh, and some of the topics that we delve with are a little bit deeper, a little bit more than the 24 specific techniques that we've analyzed in our book. It's a little bit different. This one is trust. What the heck is it? You hear the word a lot. And how do you get it? And how do you lose it? How do you judge it in somebody else? So we're particularly to somebody else, particular in talking about is the manipulator. How can you trust your own sense that something may not be the best, the favorite, most trustworthy thing for you? So you're in a relationship with people all the time. Everybody you're dealing with is in a relationship, whether it's family or at work. So when you're building a strong relationship with people, one of the most important things you need to build with them is trust. I trust that what I say to you will be safe. I trust that you will hold in confidence, that you will show me respect. You can trust that I will do the same with you. When two people feel that way about each other and about the way that they interact, trust builds. If not, then it's questionable. But there's another thing that deals with trust that you can use. This is where we're getting a little bit more practical. Another thing that you can use to determine if trust is real is communication. How that communication is given, received, intended. So we're talking about trust today. Go ahead, Robin.
Regard to a manipulator, it's actions aligning with communication.
Yes.
That is where you find out that the manipulator is manipulating, is when that's why we will tell our clients to write everything down because
Mhm.
you'll note that's the only way to notice the pattern. And the pattern typically that you're noticing is that their actions do not align with their words.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if somebody says to you, I'll have it to you by tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, If they don't have it by tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, your trust weakens. You don't know if you can trust them the next time. So certainly behaviors are a way to determine if someone can be trusted and that you should give your trust to them because it didn't happen. So evidence and behaviors are one way to determine whether trust is effective and it can be trusted, can be trusted.
Okay, well, it's really important to know that in the beginning of a relationship with someone who's targeted you for manipulation, they are extremely, extremely adept at building
Mm,
trust and rapport quickly,
yeah,
very quickly.
yeah, yeah,
And you will find yourself feeling quite comfortable with them. Typically, they're charismatic, but you'll
yeah,
find yourself feeling like you could completely rely on them. And typically, what happens is, if you remember our last episode where we talked about shame, where they try to get those dark secrets from you, this is the beginning where you're likely to disclose some dark, deep, dark secret that you have that you're embarrassed about, but you feel like I can trust this person because that's when they store it away for later. But they have to build your trust in order to get to that treasure that they can leverage later.
yeah. And don't forget, one of the reasons they're able to get that deep, dark secret from you is because oftentimes manipulator will reveal a deep, dark secret to them. Probably not true, but they give the impression that they are sharing things with you and I want to be trusted by you. Yeah, you want to be very careful about the way that those things are communicated and the what. This, particularly if you're just meeting a new person, what kind of private or personal incident or belief or attitude do they hold that they're willing to share with you at this early stage of the relationship?
The
So,
safest thing for you to do is never, ever disclose dark personal secrets to someone
yeah,
until you are absolutely 100% certain they're not a manipulator.
100%. 100%.
That is the number one self-protective, confident piece of declarative advice I can give you. Hold it back.
Yeah, yeah. So,
But I want to talk about the
go
erosion of
ahead.
your
Sorry.
trust in yourself, because that is the true cost of continuing to be in a relationship with a manipulative person. Because it's your compliance and then realizing that you're being compliant with manipulation that you start to doubt yourself and your ability to stand up for yourself, your ability to advocate for yourself, your ability to set a boundary for yourself. Because every time you try, they break that down. Every time they break that down by pushing back or testing it, it erodes more
Oh, yeah.
of your coastline.
Oh, yeah.
And that big house is falling off the cliff into the
Yeah.
water at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like my metaphor? You should appreciate that. It just came on the fly.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. 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 So trust in yourself. Now, earlier I was mentioning how you can recognize, build trust in other people, look at what they exhibit and how they show you that they're trustworthy. Listen, it's almost not worth wasting our time with that because manipulators are so good at it. They can almost make you believe anything. Why? Not because they're truly trustworthy people, they're being honest with you, but because they practice it. They strategize it. They think
Because
about it.
intuitively, if you're pathos, they make you feel good. They make you feel
Easy,
loved. If you're
easy,
logos, they make you feel like you're so smart. You're
so
always
smooth.
right. If you're ethos, they make you feel like I respect you
Ooh,
so much and admire you.
yeah,
Really an accomplished person.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, they know how to do this and they
Yes,
do it. That's why you have to know what you are because
yes,
they're going to be speaking that language and it's going to be like a hot knife through butter right to your
absolutely.
heart.
Now remember, go back, look at episodes one, two, or three, whatever they were, where we talked about ethos, pathos, and logos. You
It was
just heard
right in the
Robin
beginning.
mention them.
Yeah.
They are very, very important in your learning and in your skill set and being able to protect yourself. But they're very effective. That's the point. That's why we're using them. So, what Robin is suggesting is that those three things, ethos, pathos, and logos, will exist in the manipulator, but also in you. And if your manipulator can tell which one you are most impressed by, most influenced by, let's say it's logos, logic, they absolutely will use that to gain your trust, whether it's true or not, whether they're saying true things or not. It doesn't matter to them.
You know
They
what,
want to
Dennis?
know what matters to you. And if that what works to you, they'll do it.
I just had an interesting thought. It would be great to do a study to see who are the most targeted by manipulation, ethos, pathos, or logos.
EPRL. Yeah.
I would bet you anything logos is at the bottom. I
Yeah.
just I
Yeah.
just thought about it. And
Pathos.
the reason why is logos people pay attention to the details and the facts and the
Yeah.
data. And that is where that doesn't isn't where manipulators shine. They shine
Yeah.
at plausible deniability and ambiguity and chaos and mix it up and
Yeah.
create a sense of urgency where there is none. And that's more of a pathos thing, and it can also be much an ethos thing when they
Yes.
appeal to the
Yeah.
blow the smoke and say, "Oh, you're awesome and you're so important," and so it's interesting for those of you out there who are sociologists or psychologists and are interested in that. That would be very interesting study, I think.
Wasn't it interesting along the way, as we found in the Epstein files, how many times Epstein took pictures with very famous people, or worse than that, he had paper degrees and acclamations that he had done something on his
Well,
wall.
that's a good point, Dennis, because he did target Logos people.
Yeah, yeah. And what he wanted to gain from that was he wanted to gain his own ethos.
He used
He wanted to
ethos.
say, look at my picture with so and so.
Yes.
Whether it
He
was
wanted
only
to add to his ethos through logos.
it could have been a 1 second thing passing in a crowd, but he took it and used
Yep,
it.
yep, yep,
Okay.
yep.
So you have to be careful what you see, what they say as being true. As manipulators, they not necessarily going to tell you what the truth. They want to build trust, but their way, and they don't care what happens to you in the meantime. If they succeed
So
in taking your trust, they win.
operationalizing this a bit, both internally and externally, would be a good idea for you to think about what will enable me to trust someone. And will I trust someone if I find out the facts aren't accurate?
Hmm.
'Cause remember, they can explain everything away. They can explain it away. And what they're really good at is winning you over so hard that you give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So you like them so much and you want this to work out so much that when somebody says, "No, he wasn't there on Tuesday, he was there on Wednesday," and it doesn't align with what they said, they make it very hard for you to pin them down on the
Hmm.
facts.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
before, if you're someone who's not in a relationship with a manipulator and you just want to develop a competency so you're not a target, this would be a great time for you to think about what will someone have to do to gain my trust? How
Yeah.
quickly will I trust? How
Hmm.
much will I trust?
Hmm.
Because I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and we give people the benefit of the doubt. We trust people. It's warm, friendly, friends are strangers. What is the strangers are friends I haven't met yet? And let me tell you, Boston ain't like that. Hell no. I'm sorry for swearing, but hell no. They are mass holes. They are.
Oh, now come on.
No,
Now come
no,
on.
no, Dennis,
Bostonians are
they
not going to
are.
agree with
And
that.
they're proud of it. No, I love them. I love Boston. And believe
Yeah.
me, I can hang. I
Be
can be a
careful.
hole too. But but Dennis, you're not from here either. And
Okay, you're right. You're right about that.
they're cold here. And it's not a bad thing because they look at you like, what are you trying to get from me? What do you
Yeah,
want from me?
exactly.
And that's not such a bad thing because,
Yeah. But
I
it's
don't know.
very, as I mentioned
There's
before,
no clear answer.
it's behaviors and expressions of communication that allow us and help us to judge somebody. Can I trust them? I was born in the Pennsylvania Dutch country. So how do you build trust? You take over a pie. to somebody. It was you wish them luck and welcome them to the neighborhood.
You
You
see,
offer to take their kids when they're having a
yes,
conflict.
same
This
in
is
Michigan.
okay. This is a
But
different
here,
way.
if you did that, people would be very suspicious. And I'm
Here, yeah,
generalizing.
yeah.
Obviously, there's little enclaves and little neighborhoods
Yes, 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 of
where you
course.
have the fuzzy wuzzy, but
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
it's an exception here because I people don't walk in your house, they don't come over unannounced, they don't expect to hang out in necessarily. I
yeah,
mean, it's very you have to work harder. And what they say here in Boston is they say, yeah, you have to work a lot harder to win them over, but once you're in, you're in.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's interesting too, right? It can be
Yeah.
cultural,
It's
not
very
just
cultural.
personal.
It's very cultural. It's exactly right, Robin. Very cultural that so wherever you are seeing this, visiting with us, whether it's in another part of the US or another country, because we know we have a lot of friends in other countries, think about the culture. So factor what we're saying into the cultural practices, expectations in your culture. And
But
it
a
may be
manipulator,
bringing a pie, it may be donating a goat, it may be something that shows that helps to build trust. Think about those kinds of things too.
say,
We don't want you to make you suspicious of everybody who does something nice or
ah,
gives you a compliment. That's not what we're trying to do.
oh, you were calling me a goat. Thank you
See what I mean?
so much.
Yeah, see what I mean? Yeah,
But
yeah.
whatever the culture is, the manipulator will leverage and
Oh
exploit
yeah.
that culture.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Everything's available for them.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. We've been saying that right along.
I know.
They don't care about you. They want to control you. That's what they want to do. And they'll use any tactic they think will work on you. All they care about is having a win, whether they want to win your friendship or they want to win your money or they want to win some sex or they want to win who knows what. If they
One of
get
those
it,
three,
they don't care what happens to
fame,
you.
sex, or money. The thing is to operationalize this again is trust. They have to build trust in order to
Yes.
manipulate and exploit. They
Yes.
have to.
Yeah.
So in think about the trust building process. So if there's a person, I again, professional or personal, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, who is trying to build trust with you. So you know that, right? You can tell, you can pay attention. How are they look? They're giving you eye contact, they're giving you undivided attention, they're smiling, they're laughing at your jokes, they're responding to you. All these are all the little things people do to build trust. So
Mhm.
if a person in your life is doing those things with you, it does not mean they're a manipulator.
No,
They
right.
could be from Michigan, and it's very normal.
Yeah,
But
okay.
but
Right.
you do want to have your spidey senses watching for,
Yes.
huh,
Yeah.
this person just bubbled up.
Yeah.
So you want to bring a little Boston to it, a little
Yeah.
bit of what do you want from me?
And remember, we've talked many times about your vulnerabilities. One of the things that manipulators definitely take advantage of and watch for and then utilize is when you are vulnerable in something. They will try very hard to, in one of those moments of vulnerability, to build a trusting relationship with you. Maybe only a little thing. Could be just
Yes.
a pie or a hello, but be
Or
careful of it. If you
that.
suspect that someone may be a little bit too much of that, or a little too frequently or over the top with love
Glad you brought
bombing
that
or
up,
whatever,
Dennis.
be
That
careful.
actually, and I want to give a shout out to our virtual on-demand course, 8 30-minute sessions, very powerful, all with worksheets. But what Dennis
Oh,
just
yeah.
mentioned is we have a worksheet where you actually take an inventory of
Yeah.
vulnerable moments in your life. It's not saying every human being has vulnerable moments. In
Yeah.
your vulnerable moments, which
Yeah.
could be you just lost your job, your mom's in the hospital dying of cancer,
Yeah.
your car just broke down on the expressway. There's always vulnerable moments. When you have a human vulnerable moment and
Yeah.
someone kind of swoops in from nowhere and is very trust building, you definitely want to turn the volume up on your spidey sense.
Now be cautious, of course, if a nurse does that with you in a hospital. As that's a different,
Well,
you have to be, this is what Robin's saying. You've got to be cautious. Be very
yes.
careful about because otherwise, practically everybody who's a nice person is going to be a manipulator to you. That's just not true. But you get that feeling. She's calling it a spidey sense. You get that feeling that, I don't know, it's just not quite as comfortable. Are you comfortable with that person?
Yeah, I want to define spidey sense because remember, the manipulator will make you feel so comfortable. Because when you're vulnerable, you
Mhm.
don't have the metacognition. You can't
Right.
step out. You're vulnerable, right? So they're there with the tissue. They're there with the chicken soup. They're there with the ride when you need. They're there with whatever you need, and they're making it seem so caring that
Mhm.
you're going to be like a sponge and suck it in. So you have to remind yourself that you are vulnerable. And if someone comes from no, if your best friend shows up with, a warm, cozy road and chicken soup when you're sick and it's your best friend and you trust them, we're not talking about that. We're talking
Yeah.
about your friend and me who you haven't really even ever had maybe a coffee with, who
Yeah.
all of a sudden is pushing to come over and help you because
Yeah.
they know what's best for you and they have their special
Yeah. Yeah.
grandma remedy and they want to get it's odd. And
Right.
that's the word I want you to remember. Whenever it's odd, that's the definition for your spidey sense. This is odd.
Hmm.
When you feel like that's odd, you need to perk up and pay
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
Perk it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you may be wrong, but you'll be safe if you
Got to
do
be
it
paying
that way.
attention at that point.
You
Yeah,
do
it's
not
nothing.
want to be vulnerable. Look, we already know we're vulnerable, as Robin said, in certain situations, but be careful. Your vulnerability to a manipulator is infinite. They'll try anything, anywhere, anytime if
That's their
you're their
fast track.
target. So
Yeah.
be cautious about that.
And you should have the self-awareness to know when you are vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with that. Men have trouble with this. Human beings have vulnerable moments, period. It doesn't matter if you're the biggest alpha male in the room, you're going to have moments of vulnerability. That's all there is to it.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you do if you suspect that kind
Pay
of a thing?
attention.
What do
Oh,
you do?
what do you mean if
You
you suspect it? You mean if
If
you
you
feel like something's
suspect, you
odd?
don't really know that someone is a persistent manipulator, but if you suspect, you get that spidey sense, you get that sense of discomfort, that sense of curiosity. What should you do? How does you react to that kind of a thing?
Well, in the first time something happens, well, it depends. I can't give a specific answer, but it depends. If somebody's pushing for something and you're like, I don't really want Sarah coming over here and seeing me in my pajamas, like I don't have that relationship with her. You say
Mhm.
no. That's not going to work for me, or that's not comfortable for me.
Yeah.
Um, and
I mean, if you strongly suspect, as Robin's saying, if you strongly suspect that this is way out of line and it's just not going to be appropriate, and I don't want to go anywhere with this kind of a behavior, if you strongly suspect that, you've got to stop it immediately. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Close
yeah.
the door. Okay.
If
Short,
you're not
sweet.
sure, then you're going
Yep.
to do reconnaissance. You're going to take notes. You're going
Yeah.
to write
Yeah.
it down
This
and
is
say,
where
I don't
communication,
know if this is going to go anywhere, but let me just write this down.
and this is where communication kicks in. Writing is a form of communication.
Right. So like March
Write it down.
6th, 2025 at 3:27 p.m.
Yeah.
Pam
Yeah.
started walking her dog by the front of my house
Yeah.
and stopped and lingered and waved at me through my office window. That was odd. She walks, she never walks her dog in front of my house. Why is she walking her dog in front of my house now? And why is she stopping and waving at me? It's odd. It's nothing you can address and say, "Hey, why are you stopping and waving at me in front of my house?" Right? This is how they play. They do something that it's slippery. It's not, you're not able to pin it down, but it's not also normal. So you go, well, that's odd. All of a
But
sudden,
what happens with that is, listen, we're not trying to make you paranoid about this. that
A
everything.
little paranoia, a little bit, a little
Okay,
dabble do ya, a little dabble do
it's
ya, a
okay.
Boston
A little
now.
dabble, do you, Boston? Okay. So my inclination would be to trust first, suspiciously, particularly somebody I don't know, something that's very unusual. I maybe not mistrust, but I question, I doubt, I evaluate. And if it happens again in the same way, another question and evaluation. If it tends to be a little bit nicer, I'm very cautious if I suspect that person in the way that they communicate, in the kind of things that they do, and when they show up and all of that. Now I'm really cautious. And here's another thing. Remember, trust is two ways. A friend is someone you trust who you can trust right back. So,
No, who
one
trusts
test you can
you?
make
You
is
trust.
you try something and see how they accept your overture. But that communication, that sensitivity,
That's a good
and that
one.
acting upon sense, that the spidey sense, that's something that you enact and then you act upon it. Don't just worry about being the target of it. You can act upon it as well and test it out.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I love the topic and I love exploring these details. If you guys have a suggestion, if you can drop us an email at outwitbook@gmail.com. That's outwit book@gmail.com. You can drive email goes directly to us. Let us know, hey, have you ever thought about this topic? We've got some people we're going to be interview coming up that's going to be very interesting, very juicy,
Yeah.
having to do with the topic of divorce, which brings out,
Yeah.
yeah, which is,
Talk about manipulation. We talk about divorce. You're going to want to be there when this episode happens.
yeah. But I think we better wrap it up, Dennis, because
Okay. All right. Good. I trust your inclination, Robin. You haven't failed
I
me
trust
before.
you to wrap it up quickly. Thank you so
All
much.
right then. We're seeing Robin is now seeing the old clock on the wall and says we got to trust our clock and wrap it up, which we will do. So thank you very much for being with us. We know this is a little bit of a different topic, and now and again, Robin and I try to get away from those very specific words and facial expression that you should give and say when you're being manipulated. Very important, obviously. We treasure those immensely. We got a little bit of different topic right now because it builds around trust and it builds around friendship and suspicion and questioning and self-confidence. These are different kinds of things. This is why we're here. It
Oh my goodness.
always relates to manipulation. All right. So, Robin is, I trust that signal is wrap it up, Dennis. So I want to say for my colleague, Robin Golinski, I am in fact Dr. Dennis Becker. Thanks for being with us. Bye for now.